What is good, Tommy in the Hobby Hideout, Southwest Florida, again representing at the regional. It was the Boca Raton regional. What's your name and what'd you do?
My name is Sergio, and I played branded at the regional. I got top 32 at 32.
Nice. Very nice. All right, let's get into it.
All right, so pretty straightforward. We got 3 Ash Blossom, right, who's not playing this card. We have 3 Fallen of Albaz, of course.
Shout out to Scuffed
3
Rarities.
Aliburs, yes, Scuffed Rarities. You know what? Let me rewind that real quick. I was a madman playing 2 ultra rares. I'm sure you could probably figure out which one it is. And a common.
2 ultis and an ultra.
No, I was playing 2 ultras in a common. But this gentleman over here informed me that he wouldn't let me go down that way, so he provided me with 2 ultis.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Matt for the rarity bump.
Shout out to Matt for the rarity bump. Unfortunately, these will continue to be scuffed. We have 3 Alubers, obviously. All pretty straightforward, and then here's all like the unique one-ofs that this deck has to play. We play 1 copy of Kit, 1 Mercurier, 1 Cartesia, 1 Quem, 1 Albion Shrouded. That does it for the kind of Albaz stuff. Then we have here some of the continuation of the Despia stuff. We do have the 1 Tragedy. We do have the 1 Ad Libitum. This card, initially in concept, I really like the Despia cards, but this card today in particular, when it worked, it felt like overkill, and when it didn't, it felt like a garnet. So I don't know how I feel about it going forward. I love the card itself. I love a lot of the stuff going on with Despia, but definitely debating on that one if I had to point out anything significant. And then for the Bestials, we have 1 Bestial Serenir, obviously, and 1 Bestial Lubellion for your Lost and Branded Beast plays. That's it for the monster lineup. And then we have the spells, which are obviously 3 Branded Fusion. Nothing to say about that.
Best card in the game?
Definitely, totally
fair
and balanced. When it doesn't get
ashed.
well, but yes, obviously, best card in the deck and in the game.
How many times did it get asked today?
Too many.
Too many.
A few too many.
1 is 1 too many.
Anyways, yeah, 3 of those. We have 3 branded openings, which is just essentially 3 more branded fusions. 3 fusion deployments, all very standard, very straightforward. Nothing innovative there. However, I am deciding to play 2 copies of Super Poly in the main. It's just very versatile. It's great having a going first, going second card in the best way possible, being a quick play spell that your opponent can't respond to. I had a lot of really strange hands today, but this plus a Lost and maybe another interaction or 2, it just gets you so far. And not even to mention the epidemic of branded going around. They bring the monsters out for you when you don't have them under Super Poly. It's just ridiculous. And as far as for the rest of the branded cards, we have obviously 1 branded in red, 1 branded Lost, and then another card I was teching in today. Most people usually have a spot here for branded in white. I decided to play Despia Theater instead. Similar purpose, it's essentially a searchable polymerization. But I found it a lot today, and in testing that the recursion, the added more recursion and protection you get off of this card, like the fact that a fusion monster gets removed by any sort of effect by your opponent, that brings back usually Alibur for some protection and a negation, and if they out the Alibur, you just go ahead and bring right back out the fusion monster. It's a very, it introduces a very interesting dynamic that I want to continue to explore, but I think this card did very well today. Despite what some of my opponents saw, I'm sure it looked very scuffed, me trying to do something with this card and to no avail. But overall, I'm very interested in this card. Very impressed with how it performed today. And then the unofficial branded card, we have Nadir's Servant, obviously.
Yeah.
Just the one of.
Just the one of. I think it's a really good card. I've been informed to probably try to play more than 1 of this, but based on how I have the deck and the direction I kind of want to go into, I think having more more hard once per turn cards is just asking for more strange hands in this deck, because despite everything you're seeing, this deck still bricks. And I mean, just you want to have options when you want to push forward too, especially through Ash. After having your branded fusion ashed, you want to have some sort of plays going forward, and this is just another one of the many cards that continues those plays. And then we have the other cards, the other spell cards we have left, all of our one-ofs at 1, the Golden Goldsark, Gold Foolish Burial, and Called by the Grave for that Ash. Ash, honestly, was it hurts this deck, but realistically, getting Ashed, I've just learned to accept it. It is what it is. So I decided to offset a lot of the hand trap measures to just kind of push forward and push through. I think the deck just does way too much in back and forth and in recursion, where having those one-off interactions with your opponent doesn't pay off as well. So, but obviously, called buying the Ash on your Branded Fusion and getting one off, it just feels too good. That does it for the spells, and then all we have left here is the traps in the main. Playing quite a few traps, I think more than most people would like. Obviously, the one Branded Retribution. We are playing Branded Beast. I think people saying to cut this, I understand both sides of the argument, but I don't think you should rely entirely on your monster effects to get you through your opponent's turn. Branded Beast, just having a generic, an archetype having a generic connection to a pop card is just, it's just invaluable. And there's some plays where you can dump Branded Loss and this just resets it at the end phase. I mean, this card just does a lot. I'll probably continue playing it going forward. And then some of the other cards people probably won't like playing is Brightest Blazing Branded King. Having a pseudo negate that can negate an entire board. I mean, this card usually, when unexpected by your opponent, introduces just such a strange situation with having a lot of their cards negated, such as like the Trap Tricks matchup having their field spell negated, or certain continuous spells and traps and floodgates existing for Labyrinth negated. Sometimes this just helps you squeak through along with a like set Branded in red. And then finally we have one Fusion Duplication, so that when you do get Ashed, you can just try again on your opponent's turn. Or you can target Super Poly. It's really, really good. It's really, really good.
Is there any way for you to search that, or is it just hard drawn?
No, sir, hard drawn. I really wish I could. I wish this had Branded Fusion Duplication.
Seems a little sus, but okay.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of regional lists did top with that in the side, playing 3 of them. So like, I see the reasoning. I think.
I guess going first is probably decent.
Yeah, I've only been playing the deck for a month. Actually a lot less, under a month. This is what I've gotten so far. I like it a lot. We'll just continue to experiment, but the deck feels pretty tight. But we'll see going forward. This is just what I had for this weekend. But for the extra deck, we have obviously the Despia and Lulu Lilith, of course. Here we have our Super Poly targets, which are Garura and Predaplant Dracostapelia. Not just a Super Poly target. Obviously, you can do things with Lubellion to reshuffle in fusion monsters and a dark monster and just get more resources while getting a sort of negate up. A really, really good card. And obviously the one Chimera for your Branded in red plays. Again, super solid card, really great. Under loss, it's freaking broken. And then we have here our other non-Albaz fusion monsters. We have our Despian Queritus, the one Granguinol, the one, yes, main decked Masquerade, and one Despian Proskinian. As I continue to test this deck out, sometimes summoning a Despian monster from the extra deck off Granguinol, and that being Lulu or Queritus, doesn't always feel like enough. This card is just big enough to be annoying, and you can usually grab an opponent's extra deck card that's in the graveyard and take it to your advantage, or in the mirror, you can banish their Albion, their own graveyard activating effects like Titaniclad before they have a chance to activate them. It's really annoying. It's also just a badass card. And then next we have our Fallen of Albaz fusion monsters. We have the one Renbrom, the one Mirjade, the one Albion, the one Alba Linitus that I use like a second Albion, the one Titaniclad, the one Lubellion, and what is quickly becoming my favorite card in this damn deck is Sanctifier. This card is absolutely insane. If you are able to survive the onslaught that is your opponent with 5 cards, and this card somehow makes it through, you will very, very quickly begin to out-resource your opponent. And the fact that this card can't even be used as fusion material or targeted, like in the mirror, this card is just, I have no words for it. It got me a lot of wins today that I definitely shouldn't have. There were scenarios where I got ashed and I was able to make this card and continue playing, where I got my branded fusion ashed. I mean, it is what it is. It's just so good. And that's the extra deck lineup.
Very nice.
Yep. And then all we have left is the side. I'm still kind of figuring out the sideboard, but this is what I took for this weekend from what I had and kind of what I realized I was struggling into playing this deck. We have the 3 Kurakaras, cards busted. I've been saying it's busted since it was less than a $3 card. Insane. It just closes games out very quickly. Into Kashtira, it makes it no problem. And into Pearly. Very good card, obviously. We have 1 of each differently named Bestials. I do not like having, I understand Magnemite's a really, really good Bestial, especially the fact that it gives you potential follow-up with the search when interrupting your opponent. But being able to summon multiple Bestials when you, if you somehow open them is way better than having a dead card or 2. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of taking your time going second. You want to have as many interactions as possible with your opponent. So that's why I'm playing 1 of each. And also Baldrake is just insane. Baldrake plus Druid Swarm, I mean, I had it happen. It's just ridiculous. And you lose almost nothing for it. And with this deck, I noticed there's a big lack of dealing with back row decks or floodgates. So we're playing 3 Twin Twister. Insane card. Half the time I noticed that the fact that you could just dump a Fallen of Albaz in your hand into the graveyard and turn on a lot of the cards like Cartesia, or Branded in Red if you had it in hand, a lot of strange hands. It was surprisingly versatile. We play the 1 Triple T, the 1 Light of the Branded, and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I get it. It's weird.
Yeah, I actually was about to say like 1
and with that, I'm gonna go ahead and move on with 3 Even Masters.
Yeah, like I thought he was gonna throw on thrust now, and I'm like, what?
So why I'm playing these 2 specifically? Yeah, realistically, I don't have a solid answer. I understand. I did have 2 thrusts in, and I don't know. I wanted to see. I just wanted to try something different. I never got to use Triple T.
Because you played it
at all. No, even when I did open it, I realized that even when I had it, I was able, depending on the game state of my opponent's board,
it was never live.
It never felt like it was live or enough, or if I needed to discard something, over all the other cards in my deck, I never wanted to use them with.
So the Twisters only discard the Fallen of Albaz? There's no other like discards?
No, there's a few cards. You can discard even a Tragedy, even though it won't activate the effect to search for a branded monster. In the grind, or in the middle of your combos where you need to activate this, like if you're responding to floodgates, you can go ahead and use it to recover a branded spell.
It answers anti-spell.
And answer the anti-spell. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
What did you side that into?
What did I side this into? Obviously branded. This was crazy into branded. Yep, this is crazy into branded. Essentially with it's a searchable out to Mirror Jade. You bounce it back, and then you get the added ability of special summoning a Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard and a monster from your opponent's graveyard. And that just, it leads to a lot. It leads to a lot. And it's not even just for branded per se. There's other, depending on what you're dealing with. I'm fairly certain this into Dynamorphia is probably a blessing, since it would probably negate a lot of your monster effects. I heard a lot of talk about that, so I really wanted to try for that. But every time that I got to use this card, it was fantastic. Nice. But yeah, that's the side, and that's the deck.
So no Gimmick Puppet.
No, I do not. For one, I don't think it's very sportsmanlike. And 2, I think the route that you have to go for it per se is very risky, neg, and linear, so that the point that it gets interrupted, especially in the mirror, you're just gonna watch your opponent create a bigger and better board than you, and on top of that, into the mirror, they can summon the monster right back to you, It's a double-edged sword, and I don't think it's something that I'll be running anytime soon. Yeah. And also 2 for 2. My second regional ever, and I was able to. The other one that I got to, I did fairly well. I came in 14th. This one I came in 32nd. So I got very lucky with that.
Any shout outs?
Yeah. Shout outs to everyone in this room. Matt, Gio.
Sir.
I've only had 2 hours of sleep. Tommy.
Where's the sleep?
Yeah, we're
We're
running on fumes, to be honest.
Yeah, it's rough right now. It's really rough right now. I want to go to bed. Shout out to Dragon Slayer. Shout out to our amazing Yu-Gi-Oh community here in Southwest Florida. I could not ask for better opponents. I could not ask for better resources of information. I think we have some of the best players here that just need the opportunity to shine. Like Matt, like Gio, who have gone their first invitation to our nationals. Sorry.
Not first.
Matt's first.
Very nice, very nice.
And all my other Yu-Gi-Oh friends, Rennick, my buddy Nate. I'm drawing blanks right now. The team NAS, Vincent, Jerome, Charles, Gene, all you guys, and specifically my wife for letting me do all these grown-up things.
Shout out to wifey.
Shout out to La Patrona.
She's her.
Yes, sir.
If Gio's him, she's her.
All right. Sounds a little weird.
Got that.
All right. Tommy and the Hobby Hide, out. Peace.